His pants got pulled down. Boom, ball zonies are out. Whoa, look away, gentlemen. Look closely, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Have you ever been DQ'd? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You're at a competition. Maybe you did something wrong. Maybe you saw someone do something crazy and they got DQ'd. Now, I'm actually going to talk about maybe something slightly funny, maybe something very embarrassing in terms of people getting DQ'd. Have at it as you will. But the first one, the reason why this came up was recently John Combs was going against Andy Varela in the North America qualifiers for ADCC.
And was it East Coast trials? West Coast?
West. Going hard match. Obviously, blood's pumping, it's going up a notch. And unfortunately, John Combs vomits. You guys might have seen it. It's
just mid-match.
Because he's like, no, they kind of stopped the match. I don't know if it went out of bounds, but he was like, can you just, he's like feeling it. And he's trying to say, hey, can you get me a, poor dude. Like, he's an amazing competitor, John Combs. And so Andy Varela also beast. And
Andy Varela's a mother.
He's a monster kid and goes really hard. And as a result, I believe he was DQ'd. Like, that's technically like a cannot continue kind of injury. And it's
disappointing for him. But I mean,
dude,
I don't feel bad for the guy. I'm like, dude, that goes down in jiu-jitsu law.
Man, you went hard.
You went hard and you blew chunks. Respect.
Yeah, it's incredible, but it's unfortunate. And it made me think of a couple of other DQs, which are maybe kind of funny, maybe ridiculous, but I wanted to put them out there. The first one that came to mind was actually Bill the Grill Cooper, because I'm a big fan of Paragon and Jeff Glover and Bill Cooper. I feel really laid the foundation. Their jiu-jitsu, their no-gi, like they dominated Naga, they dominated Grapple Quest. They were doing insane stuff. They really put the foundation down for a guy like Gary Tonin.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, Gary Tonin is his whole animal.
Like unconventional.
But if you look at how wild they were in terms of letting their guards getting past and then just flipping over and guillotining dudes, leg locking dudes, they were incredible, those guys. And they used to do breakdancing. They used to, smoke weed. They were kind of like the Rotolo brothers before the Rotolo brothers.
Yeah.
They were amazing. And at that time, Paragon was actually associated with Alliance.
Right.
But then other Alliance schools came in, and then Paragon was its own thing. Bill the Grill Cooper got disqualified in the finals of the Brown Belt Worlds for going commando. So,
what's that?
Well, when I say commando, he had no underwear on.
Oh, right.
So he's free. He's free balling. So they're having a hard match. It was him versus Otavio Souza, right? I don't remember the year. Maybe it was like 2008, 2009, something like that. Early days. And I actually watched it, and his pants, you know how you can get kind of disheveled? His pants got pulled down. Boom, ball zonies are out. Whoa, look away, gentlemen. Look closely, ladies. Didn't need to look that close. Bill the Grill, who was hanging out. And the referee's like, no, that's it. Like, you have to wear underwear.
Well, it wasn't even a case of did they get pulled with the pants?
No. Like, he's like, because I think he was
Otavio. What a dog.
But
Daxed him.
He wasn't to know, right? But it's dope because Otavio is like a multiple-time world champion now, but they're both brown belts. And he was like, I think coming up on a sweep or something, and the pants just got pulled down, and then he was just ass out. And I didn't even know.
Bulldogging it.
He was just bold, out and proud. And poor Bill, because he was actually an exceptionally good gi and no gi competitor.
Yeah, right.
So he lost the finals because of that. Anyway, that was kind of funny. But then I've seen probably maybe more controversial kind of DQ. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want the best gear for BJJ, you need to go to pariathletics.com. These are our guys. They support the show. George, great guy, great creator, awesome colors, awesome styles, and also the best fit. It feels great. And that's the thing. It's not just that it looks good, it feels good. And the thing that for me, I love the most is I can wear the stuff at jiu-jitsu, but then also they've got that other side, the cool side where you can wear it off the mats. And they are our exclusive partner in Apparel. If you want to get bulletproof gear, you've got to go to paraathletics.com. And when you buy anything at checkout, enter bulletproof20 for 20% off. Oh, yeah. Maybe more controversial kind of DQ. But even though it was funny to watch, it was Keenan versus Paulo Miao at brown belt at the Jiu-Jitsu World
Keenan
Pro.
significantly bigger, or was he smaller back then?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just he's a fair bit taller.
Guy, right? Yeah.
But they were both double guard pulling, scooting. It was kind of the era of 50-50 being very popular.
Yeah.
And neither of them wanted to come up. They both wanted to kind of bolo and backtake. And you have a very frustrated referee hating the double guard pull.
Yeah.
And it's for money. Like the Abu Dhabi Pro at that time, I can't remember the year. It was one of the only comps that offered.
That was a $250 prize pool.
It was
amongst
huge.
15 champions.
It was like, no, but it might have been
good.
It might have been 10 grand maybe for the final.
Yeah.
Absolute brown belt final for the pro. And they get double DQ'd because it's just, they keep getting warnings like, hey, Luch, fight. You fight. And they're both like, they're dueling guards. Like, it's not that they're doing nothing, but the referees just hate this double guard pull. And it's just personal bias. But at the end of the day,
I hate double guard pulls.
The referee is the law. And he just said, nah, you're both out, DQ. And they were spewing. It was kind of hilarious because it was like that Benny Hill. You could just put that music over it. And they're like, scoot, scoot, half sweep. No, scoot, scoot, sweep. And it was just the epitome of butt scooting.
Dude, that happened to Levi as well, didn't it? Brown belt worlds.
No, it might have been black belt worlds. Black belt. Yeah, it was first round.
They both got DQ'd, didn't they? Both competitors?
I can't remember, but I do remember him being super upset.
Yeah, it was like, I'm sure it was both competitors. They got like 2 warnings, and then the third time it happened, ref's like, you're out of here.
And that was actually a good year for Levi. I think that was the same year he might have beat Lucas Lepre.
I think my impression was that was the first comp after beating Lucas, and everyone was like expecting big things. He's going to be the
world champion.
Yeah, it was really disappointing to see. So I had a conversation with a mate, shout out to Jay, listener of the show.
Cool.
We were at Subversion together, but we were chatting about this double guard pull thing. He didn't quite, we're chatting about some aspect of it, but basically there's a thing, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Jiu-Jitsu where when somebody pulls guard, the onus is then on you to play top position. Like
potentially.
Like if they pull guard, you cannot also pull guard.
No, you can. You can't. Double guard pulling is a thing. But yeah, it's done a bunch. It just depends on the competition. Because some competitions now they're even talking about penalizing guard pulling
altogether
in general.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But okay, yeah. So we could say then that like most of the prevailing comps, at least of the past, like the IBJJF and whatnot, you can't do that, can you?
No, we're gonna have to run that back and fact check it. I've seen double guard pulls flat out.
Yeah,
Brasileiro, like pans.
Okay.
It's just possibly done less. Like even recently, Taliesin Soares, when he won the Pan Championship, there was a double guard pull, but very quickly he came up on like a leg drag.
Well, that was my impression, was that in the event of a double guard pull, somebody has to assume top position. You can't both just, and that was what was happening with Levi and whoever was competing against. No one would come up.
Right.
Each athlete was like, I'm staying in guard.
Right.
And the ref's like giving them a moment to see like who's coming up. Okay, points.
Right.
And I think that maybe that's more the thing, is like if it happens, somebody has to come up.
Okay.
And so when you get this situation where, like a Levi, where their guard game is their A game,
yep, and
it's like, no, I'm going to my A game,
yeah,
and the other athlete's like, that's also my A game.
Yeah.
A game of inches, no one wants to be the one that's like, oh, I'll come on top. But we do it in training all the time, right?
Sure.
You're like, oh, you pulled? All right, here I am.
And I think it can be frustrating. It can be more, it's probably more frustrating for the spectator. You know, it's not like fighters who are good at guard. They'll do double guard pulls all day. Like they want to fight. That's actually a part of the strategy, is that you get to these positions where both people are fighting from there, whether it be for an entanglement or a back take. And I think it's a completely valid part of the game. So I actually don't think you should get disqualified for it, but it doesn't matter what I think. Now, the last one I want to mention is, do you find you get thirsty at training? I do. I do all the time. I'm a sweaty human and I need to hydrate. Now, the biggest problem is by the time you're thirsty, it's a little bit late. You need to hydrate. And that's why we got Sodi. Sodi is sponsoring the show. We've got all the colors of the rainbow. Great flavors here. We've got salty citrus, salty pineapple, salty berry, and my favorite, salty grapefruit. And they will be releasing 2 new mystery flavors soon. So why do we need this? It's going to prevent our muscle cramps. It's going to help our energy delivery. And it's also going to mean you're less tired, which is an advantage when you're training. If you want to maximize your jiu-jitsu and feel good when you're rolling, you need to get Sodi. And when you purchase, enter the code Bulletproof20 at checkout for 20% off. Oh, yeah. The last one I want to mention is something I was at this tournament. It was a Pan Pacific Championship. The person will not be named. They were wearing a white gi. Now, sometimes when you wear a white gi, it could count against you potentially. Especially maybe you've been dieting and you've been eating some weird foods. Who knows? Maybe you took some diuretics to make weight. Who knows? Maybe you had too much coffee. But this person came up on a big sweep. It's on the internet. There's a view of this person's posterior angle. Ooh. And you see a dark in a big, I don't know if it's a hip bump sweep or it's a reversal from side control. The person forces their way up on top and you get a clear shot of their butt and then just a dark cloud appears.
Shut themselves.
Oh my God. And they continued. Now, my friends.
Valiant. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Stop and run off the mat. You know if you shit yourself. I don't care. I don't care if you're really blackout drunk. You know if you're shitting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know in what universe you think you're going to fight to the win and just have shit running down your leg and they hold your arm up and it's like, the champion of shit. What are you doing? And so the referee kind of catches onto it and is like, oh, hang on, what the dude? Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll be, bro, get the hell off these mats. Other people going to be on these mats. You're going to shit yourself and then try and keep rolling? God damn.
I mean, I guess
I
can just see the thought process of well, it's happened, you know?
But
I've shat myself.
But would you
might as well try and win this match?
No way. Even in
to
training,
save myself some embarrassment by running away. Bro, you just shat yourself,
dude. It's as embarrassing as it gets. At least you ain't shitting all over the mat. Are you serious? Come on now, play this out. You're at training. You go for a sweep, or someone sweeps you. You ever been knee on belly and then let out a fart? Oh, that's embarrassing. Yeah, right. If you were to happen to disgrace yourself in a number 2 kind of way, you'd have to say, hey, bro, stop. I got to.
I'm just thinking though, for a lot of people, competition is I've invested a lot to get here. I want to win it. So it's yeah, okay. But training, sure. I'll go change my pants. Maybe even wipe a little bit for you.
It's too much, man. I remember it's
disgusting.
I remember being shocked. Because everyone's like, whoa, you see that guy? Everybody in the tournament was like, whoa, is that guy on mat number 5? See a dude shit himself and keep fighting? It was look, things happen. Jiu-jitsu's wild, right? So fair play. Oh, anyway, I wanted to go to something which is very similar where dude was in a triangle and dude farts in his face from the triangle. That dude's like, oh my God. And then taps to the triangle, runs out and spews.
Oh, from copying the fart.
Fart in the face. Similar situation. But I mean, it's just one of those things that, the bodily dysfunction can occur in extreme jiu-jitsu moments. But it was the fact that he was no one was true legend. He just kept rolling. Everybody was you kept rolling? That seems, I don't know, like an error in judgment. But yeah, man. Embarrassing.
Tell me what's going on? So we all I'm familiar with when you work out really hard, when you push yourself, vomiting is a thing. What is that? Do you know?
So
going back to that ADCC.
Yeah. Go back to the vomiting thing. So the way it was explained to me is that once you get a certain amount of lactate, if and it depends, right? Because digestion takes a fair bit of energy too. One of the safest places for your body to put acid is your stomach, because you have this lining. If you have too much, and I could be wrong about this. This was explained to me by someone smarter than me, and I took their word for it because they're sports scientists. So maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. But they're saying that once you get a certain accumulation of lactic acid in your muscles, if your body doesn't have the enzymes to break it down, your body's like, what do we do with this? Usually it can get filtered out by the liver, but you produce enzymes in your liver and your heart to deal with it. But also, if you get an extreme level of acidity, it will try and filter it and try and push back to the stomach.
Right.
Because that's like a safe place you can keep it.
And then the stomach's like, let's get this out of here.
We got to get this the out of here. So that could be wrong or right, but you also need to have something in your stomach to vomit up, right? So you would know from doing a hard workout, Joe, that if you got nothing in your stomach, you just start getting like just acidy feels. Like it's just stomach acid. It's not necessarily food. But when John Combs spewed, it might have been a bit of Gatorade. Maybe it was like half a snack bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is the hardest thing about a tournament. You've got to keep some fuel in the system. But when you're rolling to the death, like as hard as those guys are, even a really conditioned athlete might have a bit of a spew. But I mean, I've seen some pretty crazy DQs. Not embarrassing, not funny, but like, you know, dudes headbutting each other and can turn into some Royal Rumble shit. And yeah, it you know, tournaments, people are committed. You're getting people at peak, just adrenaline and fight to the death, and shit can get sideways.
That's what we're there to see.
Yeah, it's entertaining. But ladies and gentlemen, if you've seen a crazy or very embarrassing DQ, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to see it. Good times.